Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the digital asset investor. Once again, I wake up, I bet there was 13 messages that were waiting on me, just different people sending me different articles, and there's so much information that I had to break this up. I'm having to break it into the next video just because I think my computer would probably crash with all the tabs up here if I tried to do all of it at once. But anyway, I wanted to start here. This is from Tony Tati at Tati_Tony. And he posted this article. This is the first article I saw this morning. This is from Brad Garlinghouse, who is over in Davos at the World Economic Forum. Ripple CEO's prediction: banks to become custodians of cryptocurrencies in 2019. That is the only thing here. The other things in here I believe we've covered. It says Garlinghouse continued that the U.S. was behind in terms of regulations when compared to the global regulators, and said that 2019 would bring the much needed clarifications surrounding cryptocurrencies and other technologies. He also said, I think we'll start to see traditionally defined banks actually custody cryptocurrency, as one prediction I've had for 2019. And I've been showing you the last few days, it's going on over in Switzerland. I think I showed one in Bermuda yesterday, but the banks around the world are starting to custody digital assets. Now, that's a domino, that's dominoes if I've ever heard about dominoes. And once those dominoes begin to fall and those banks' competitors realize what they're doing, all of them are going to be custodying digital assets or hiring somebody to do it for them, one way or another. And if they don't, the banks will die. Simple as that. And yesterday I also showed you that these banks, Santander had closed a bunch of branches, and they cited as their reason that customers aren't walking into these physical buildings anymore. And then I showed you that the Bank of England video where they went out on the streets, I believe, of London and asked their customers when the last time they walked into a bank was, and most people, it was like once or twice a month, if that. And so they're telling you where this is all going. Moving along, this is huge right here, folks. Now, you all know that Earthport is one of Ripple's partners. In fact, this is when Ripple announced this. Earthport launches distributed ledger hub, and it says the extended service will simplify and accelerate the adoption and implementation of distributed ledger technologies for the banking community, allowing banks to swiftly move into this new world of payments without additional heavy investment in infrastructure, compliance, and operational agreements. This achieved via full access to Ripple ecosystem through a single contract, a single technical integration, and a single service relationship. Well, a while back, Visa had put in, I believe it was $180 million offer to buy Earthport. Well, guess who has stepped up to the plate in this turf war? Mastercard has opened up a turf war with rival scheme Visa over the acquisition of cross-border payment firm Earthport, posting a 233 million, I guess that's pound, cash offer for the UK firm. And by the way, I forgot to give credit at XRP_veteran. But you see what's happening. Ripple's technology is so great that it is literally being fought over. It's a war going on, and everybody knows it. That's the dirty little secret. It's a war. All right, Sergeant Obi-Wan, who has been on fire, at SGT OBIWAN, definite follow. New crypto reveal could be bigger than Bakkt and Bitcoin ETF combined. Plus, Ripple and XRP, Tron, Ethereum, Zcash. This is from the Daily Hodl. And he's talking about the Samsung Galaxy S10 adding cryptocurrency wallets. It says, a series of images surfaced on Twitter are creating a burst of speculation in the cryptoverse. The images allegedly show the unreleased Samsung Galaxy S10 smartphone equipped with a native cryptocurrency wallet that supports Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so, folks, whether this is true or not, they're saying that this is apparently this is an unreleased version of this phone, and someone has put this out on Twitter. Whether this is, it looks pretty real to me. Whether it's real or not, this is all coming, okay? This is coming. Everybody, you and all of your friends and family, the same people that have been laughing at you and me for the last year or two about how stupid we are to be investing in cryptocurrency, those same people are going to have apps on their phones, and they're going to be having conversations with you about what their favorite digital asset is, and they're going to be showing you what they own on their phone before this is all over. We are the first movers. We are the early adopters, and that has to be, it's an uncomfortable thing to be the early adopter. You have to go through a lot of fear and FUD and all the things that you and I experience every day. But everything inside of you, you know what you've done is the right thing. I started a channel because of it, and I've known since 2013 that this was going to change the world, and it is. And you can look no further than this, because this is coming. If you're seeing pictures of this, it's already an idea. It's happening. This is already happening. Okay, moving along. This is from Darth Ripple, at Ripple Darth. Definite follow. A big deal for Ripple is SBI joins Russian banks to invest in SBS. And he tells you that Mr. Katal, the CEO of SBI, has said, I strongly believe XRP will become the global standard in digital currencies. And then this article is the one he sent. A big deal for Ripple as SBI joins Russian banks to invest in SBS Bank. Ripple partner Japanese corporation SBI Holdings has reached an agreement with two other Russian banks and Japanese banks, the Russian Direct Investment Fund and the Russian Japanese Investment Fund, to invest in SBS Bank, a subsidiary of SBI. Now, the reason this is significant, for those of you that don't know, is SBI Holdings out of Japan owns, I think it's a little over 10% of Ripple, the company. And so as they form alliances with all of these banks around the world, you better believe that includes Ripple's technology spreading around the world. And that is exciting. Now, I wanted to show you all this because this is important. Yesterday I was explaining to you about how we all need to think about exit strategies and our entry strategies, but not just the exit strategy itself, but the exit strategy in terms of what if, let's just throw a what if out there. What if Ripple was worth $10 and you were ready to take out, I don't know how much you own, but let's say you wanted to sell $500,000 worth of XRP. Could you do it? Wherever you plan, let's say that your plan as of right now is to sell out of Coinbase, to turn it into Bitcoin and sell out of Coinbase. Are you approved to move $500,000 out of Coinbase? Could you do that right now, today? Could you do it out of Bitstamp if you're over in Europe? I don't think Bitstamp has limits. I think you could easily do it in Bitstamp. But could you do it in Uphold? I doubt it. I don't even think Uphold allows that much to be moved at once. But the question for you really is, if you can't move it, what's it worth to you? It doesn't do any good to you if you can't move it and use it. Let's say you wanted to pay off your house and you needed that $500,000 and you were going to use it to pay off your house, and that was going to be your first stage of cashing out. And you have 4 or 5 stages different points that you were going to cash out and make yourself financially independent. Can you move $500,000? You need to be able to answer that question in the affirmative. And if you can't, I'm about to give our Canadian listeners their potential answer. This is Coinfield. Someone sent me, a guy named Brian, I guess he's from Canada, sent me this. He said through Coinfield, which is a Canadian exchange, you can sell digital assets over the counter, which means that you can do it in much larger amounts through their over the counter system, but you have to be approved. So they call it their over the counter trading desk and elite club. And it says right here that, let's see, what's the minimum? So as long as you can show them, I guess, that you at some point might easily have the potential to have a sale that would be in excess at $50,000 or more, then they might approve you. Well, all you've got to do to get started is email eliteclub@coinfield.com. So those of you out there that are listening to me who have not thought about this, if you're in Canada, I believe it's just Canadian residents only. You should, if this is one exit strategy, and they'll probably get your banking information, and you set all of this up so that you're ready when the time comes. And finally, okay, I wanted to go over what SeeThrough Nick says here and make everybody understand what I think his point is here. And I think he's 1,000% right. But where I think this comes from, there's a guy out there, and I'm not going to name his name because I heard that the guy had gotten threats at his home, and I'm not interested in perpetuating anything like that. And I hope that the guy and his family are safe. I don't want to go down that road. But anyway, yesterday there was an article. There were a few articles that were being passed around, and it was complete what people would call FUD about XRP and the supply and different things like this. And it was put out, no question about it, by a guy who's a Bitcoin guy who has had it in for Ripple and XRP for a long time. In fact, he had placed something out there where he's asking for any former employees or current employees of Ripple who want to say anything bad about Ripple or XRP or how the business is run. Anybody who wants to say anything bad, he's actually asking them to send him information. Well, he's the one that actually started the company who created the so-called study that was the reason for all the articles yesterday that questioned the XRP supply. And in the past, I saw a tweet from back in May where Brad Garlinghouse actually called this guy out. So anyway, I'm not going to bring the guy's name up. The guy deserves to have his name brought up, but I'm not going to be a part of, if the guy's really getting any kind of threats, I'm not going to be a part of sending anybody in that direction. But I do want to show you what SeeThrough Nick is saying here, which is so true. FUD is not a big concern as long as a project provides real value by solving a real problem. Financial institutions and companies in general do not care about what is being said on YouTube or Twitter. They care about revenue and market share. Well, what I get out of this tweet, which I think is 1,000% right, and it's as simple as this, folks. If XRP does not ultimately have a use case where tons of money is flowing through XRP and payments and settlement around the world, and then other use cases down the road, if it is not used, then ultimately it should go to zero and will, but it's already being used, and it's being used. Just as one example, I talked the other day about Michael Arrington, who runs a hedge fund, and he said that XRP is so useful in the movement of money because he can move it so cheaply in large amounts and move it so fast. And he was making the point that all hedge funds have a need to move money as quickly as you can with XRP. Well, that by itself tells you how valuable XRP is. Now, just because the price has not caught up to the utility value, it's just a matter of time, because you just take just the one thing that Michael Arrington said, and that there it is. That's all you need to know, because competition dictates that all of the money, whether it's hedge funds or whatever the other use cases that Ripple's working on, the money will flow to that use case if it's actually useful. And I think that's what SeeThrough Nick is saying here. You can write all the bad articles you want, but if it's being used, those things will not affect the price in the mid to long run. They might be able to affect the price in the short run now while utility is just beginning, but not in the mid to long term. How are you? Let's say, just hypothetically, let's say that there's $1 trillion that's being settled through XRP across the world, and somebody writes 10 FUD articles. It can't drop the price down because it's being used. So I think that makes the point, and I think he made it well. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family. If XRP is being used, a FUD article can do nothing to the price. Thank you for listening.